Hello everyone, today we're going to have a video tutorial on the topic how to make animals in Unturned. Let me remind you that we will use the knowledge from our previous lesson. Please watch them to make this lesson easier to understand. As always, we need an animal model and Blender. Here is my model. I hope you prepared yours. So, where do we start? First, we need to make bones for our animal. Create the bone. Now we must to see our bone in front. To do this, find that model and click on in front flag. Now set the location at 0. Your skeleton can be absolutely anything, but I will use this model. The main bone is the spine, from which all the other bones will come. So we create bones in the image of our model. Now we must to make the skeleton under our model, like as it is a real skeleton. If you don't understand how to do this, just repeat from me and watch how to I make skeleton for this model. Okay, our skeleton is ready, but for our animal to work correctly, we need to name our bones, model and skeleton correctly too. So rename this line like skeleton and this line too. It's like skeleton. Our model must have name like model 0. As for the bones, there must be a spine and skull bone name. So choose your skeleton and click on the edit mode in tab button and rename your main bone to the spine. All other bones can be named as you like, but as in case, the damage to the animal will be calculated from the animal damage parameter. In order for the damage to be calculated from leg multiplier, you need to name the bones as left front, left back, right back. You can find information about the names on our forum. For the spine and skull bones, damage will be calculated from the corresponding parameters. I can say for sure, but child bones from bones with the correct name should be take calculation from the parent bones, but I'm not sure about this. For convenience, I will name other bones like parent bones. For example, left front, parent bones, child bones, left front 1, left front 2, and next. So just follow me. In the last lesson, I showed how to adjust the weight on the model. Here is the same system. Choose your model and skeleton and Ctrl+P and automatic weights. An error. What does mean? For some bones, the system cannot adjust the weight. It is necessary to find which bone has a problem. But you can use the voxel heat diffuse skinning plugin, which works better than the automatic system. Click on the armature deform, install the plugin, and find this panel. Open, and click to this button. And just wait. Now we must to see is it great works or not. For this we must open weight panel. How to do this? Click to your skeleton and to your model. Click on weight menu. Now you can see how exactly weights works. But I can see that some points works great, but some don't work the way I need them to. So I will edit the weight myself. This can be done by selecting faces and setting weights to them, or through the brush. This is a long and painstaking work, so in this video I will skip this point and show you the result. Here you can see my result. How are my weights works? You can see it's my legs, another part, it's my head, and the jaw is separate, like the head. Also, I make the separate weight for the eyes. Now we're done with Blender, so let's back to the Unity. Open your project and look for the Nelson example. Go to the master bundle, animal, and let's take the bear example. Drag the prefabs to hierarchy. Now let's create folder to our mod. Name it whatever you want. And drag your prefabs, game objects, from hierarchy to your folder for copy it. Now we must make the FBX setting preset. How to do this? First, we must find FBX example. Click on character and click on the animation. Now we find FBX, click on FBX and click on this button. Next, click on save and give it its name that you can understand in the future. And save. Now our preset is done. Next, let's go back to our folder, right click and show in Explorer and copy our path. Now let's back to the Blender, choose your model, file, FBX, selected objects, FBX unit scale, x-axis minus y-axis, and delete ad-lib bones, and pass the path, and export. Click on this button and set our preset, and apply. Okay, it's done, but you can see my model have such problem. It's a vertex problem. To fix it, I choose all vertex and Ctrl+N. Okay, it's good. Export again. Okay, now it works great. Okay, the next step, we must to drag our FBX under hierarchy, and we must to make same system like it's Nelson have. So first we need to change the animal client. So choose this game objects, click on your FBX and drag it under animal client and unpack. Now rename it to the character. Let's go through all the components. Capsule collider is how your animal will react to other animal and objects. If you don't want them to climb on top to each other, make it more bigger. Animal and rigid body component better do not touch. It's the animation component and similar lot to our optimization. So let's copy load because we already have animation component and pass load to here. The next way we must to copy the box collider component to our model. So copy and paste it, for example, to spine. Their box collider is hitbox. They are responsible for hitting our animal with bullets. We need to make hitboxes around the perimeter of our animal, but it is not necessary to add colliders to the all bones. Just make sure that your animal is completely covered by hitboxes. It's also a bit of long work, so let's speed this up, but if you're interested in it, just slow down the video. Here is how its collider looks like. You can't make them perfect, but try to make at least plus minus same result. Next, we must to give the right text and layers. Text it's animal, layers it entity. So now we must to choose our child bones and set right text and layers. So let's do it. Where to find it? I also forget about character. Character have also animal and entity tag. Okay, it's done for now. Now it's almost done. We already can delete the character component by Nelson, but let's before make the correct position. Set position rotation at 0 and use the next example like example. So let's configure the position. I guess it looks good. Yes. So now we can delete the Nelson example. And don't forget to save it. Also don't forget about load, and let's find our material and set our material to the R model. Okay, it's done. Looks great, I guess. And now we can make the animation. Depending on what kind of animal you have, we need to make an animation for it. Click on the character game object and choose that setting. There are three types of A behave: defense, offense, and ignore. Defense and ignore do not have attack animation, only offense has it. We are going to create an ignore type, so we don't need to create an attack animation. What animation exists? Idle, when the animal is far away; glance 0, glance 1, when the player is nearly but not within the radius of the animal. It, also when the animal is far away; startle, when the animal notices the player and starts running; walk, run. I think you understand. If your animal is attack, then there is also attack animation. Also, you can increase the number of attack, startle, glance, and eat animation in the .dat file. In this case, they will be activated absolutely randomly. And now attention, it's very important things. Animals in Unturned are the worst mod from a technical point of view. And one of the problem is the works of animal on the server. The fact is that for optimization, animals on the server have animation restriction. And there is no information about this at all. If you go over these limits, the animation on the server will be cut off or not enabled at all. To avoid this, try to repeat the number of frames and samples from the example, like Nelson. My friend did some experiments and was able to understand the approximate value of the limits with 30 samples. The limits are generally not too big, but for walk and terrain animation they are too large. So you have to make the simple animation as possible for them. This can only be fixed with plugins, but without them, use the limits from the screen. There is also approximate limits, so keep it in mind. Let's finally make the simple animation. Click on Animation tab, Create, and create idle animation. Save. Also, you must set 30 samples and create frames for each bone. For do that, we need change position and rotation numbers. And also make it for all bones. Okay, after that, you can see our frames, it's ready. But I need to change position of my model a little bit. So I just rotate a little bit legs. Something like this. Okay, now let's make a simple head movement animation. Go to our forum, find the limits. For idle it's 29. Let's go back to Unity. Also copy the first frame. And paste. Now let's find our skull bones and make some move. It is look too much to me. Let's change it a little bit less. Okay, something like this. Now copy first frame and create the glance animation. Create new clip and name it like glance 0. Now set 30 samples and paste your first frames. For now I will leave you because animation is also not a quick work. I may drink coffee several times during this process, so I will see you at the end. All other animations are made according to the same principle. And don't forget, animations are limited only by your imagination and the number of frames. So my animation are ready. This is what they looks like. Okay, it's a walk, big limits, but pretty simple, good animation. Startle. Can't have it too much big limits, so it's not good to animation, but what we have. It's a glance and it's just simple it animation. Now the next step was to make server animal. Server. This is the display of the animal on the server. It has everything the same as the client except the main component. Main component is the character controller. So copy your animal client, rename it to the animal server, and unpack. Now let's delete the capsule collider and bridge body. Go to the animal server and copy the character controller. And paste. Paste component as new. I accidentally make the animator component, so delete. Now you can change the size by the character controller. Use these lines. It's a position. It's a radius, the position too, but like z-axis. My animal is bigger, so I will edit this component a little bit. Something like this. Now delete the Nelson old example and drag your mod to the R folder to save it. Now I also forgot to set up our animation prefabs. All animation have default setting, but except run and walk, they have the loop. So choose and change on the loop. Okay, it's done for now. What's the next step? The next step is the Ragdoll component. Ragdoll is the R model for when an animal dies. It has a simple structure. Ragdoll has slot, but skeleton have rigid body, and the bones already have 3 components. A collider without a flag on the trigger, so it must be removed. The join character is a component that connects child bones with a parent bones, which gives a visualization of the real body. It makes it more realistic. In Unity, we can see how its body will fall. But the game has different gravity settings, so it will only be approximate. Create a cube under the animal and give it medium slots and text. Then press to play button. You can also see that Nelson colliders are off to the side, so that his animal falls on the spine. You can play around and see how its bones react. Okay, let's move next. Okay, let's create our own Ragdoll. You can use animal server for base or animal client for base. Copy the transforms and paste to Ragdoll. You can see in the game Ragdoll is offset by minus 19 degrees in y-axis. So we need to turn the skeleton on 19 degrees in the y. Now copy the animal server and unpack. Extract the character from the animal server component and delete it. Now we must rename to the Ragdoll and delete animation. And let's move skeleton on 19 degrees. My coordinates are going a little bit crazy, so I just edit them manually. And also remind you that move the main game object, it's mean Ragdoll, animal client, animal server, you do not change the animal in any way. To do this, you need to move the child component like skeleton. To compare my Ragdoll and my model, I need to move my Ragdoll on 19 degrees. Like I said earlier, I didn't move the model just for compare, because I moved Ragdoll, the main game object. But if I moved the skeleton, my model changed too. So a little bit edit. Okay, and now we must take Nelson component and drag it into our model. So go to the skeleton and copy the component. Go to our skeleton and paste. Now select all the child bones. You can do this on this way. Right click and select children. Now go back to Nelson and copy that component. Choose all child bones and just paste. You can see that G-body added too. But now let's have set it up like Nelson. We need to compare our setting. You can see that setting, the difference. We need to set same like Nelson. Good. Now we must remove the trigger flag from the box collider. So find all your box colliders and remove the flag. What's the next step? Now we must attach the child bones to the parent. So choose child bones and drag parent bones to this connected body window. And do the same for all child bones. Like all my 3 bones connected to skull. So connected to the skull. The spine must be connected to the skeleton. Now let's make the correct tags and layers. Ragdoll have debris layer and tags, so just set it. Okay, delete the Nelson example, and now we can check how is it will looks in the game. So let's make our cube bigger and click on the play button. Now you can see how is it looks in game. You can see that the jaw doesn't look great. I will add a separate colliders to here to make it looks more realistic. So go to the skull and let's make main box collider less. Now go to the jaw and make additional collider. Something like this. And go check again. Yes, now result is better, more realistic. Also pay attention. If your animal starts to fly or jerks a lot, this may indicate that your colliders are crossing. Try to remove any large intersecting colliders. For example, if I scale my colliders something like this, it's my cow's problem. So check your colliders if you have this problem. Okay, go to the last component. Last component don't have a lot settings, only one component. It's the same component like in animal server. So just copy if you change it and pass to our component, and it's done. Nothing else. Also check if you haven't forgotten anything. Like I forgot to save animal client. And we can move to the next step. Now we need to add this sound. Move to the next example, beer. Beer its attack. Attack animal have sound. But we don't have attack animal, so go to the cow example. We must to add panic sound. Sound like this. I don't have any sound, but I'll go to internet now and try to find sample dinosaur sounds. Okay, I found the sound. Now we must to rename them and add the right setting. I'll go to the example and copy the name. Go back and paste. I have two sounds, so it's just panic. 0 and 1. Scary? Sounds great for me. Now set right setting. Just follow me. And play. Also, I added separate sounds to make the walk and run sound. So let's make also right setting and rename it just for us. Name can be anything what you want. In previous lesson I said animations in Unity are better because we can animate more than just bones. So we need to make our sound only play on walk and run. So we need to add this sound to our animation. Go to the our animal client or animal server, and we need to create two game objects with our sounds. So go to the spine and create empty. Text must be debris. And name it just for you, also any name. Something like this. And copy to the RAM. Now let's add this sound to the our game objects. And set right setting. It's a radius setting, so it's too bigger to me. Let's make it less. Also, let's make line sound. In the video, I first simply added sound to the animation. This is a simpler method, but it does not work correctly. And when checking the animal in game, I was found that way looks bad. So I will use a more complicated method. Now create two additional game objects and name it something like this. Also delete the sound component. Name can be anything else. Now find the activator event hook script. What does he do? When this game object is turned on, the script can assign a command to the action. Similarly, if the game object is turned off, it also can be assign a command to the action. Click on the plus and drag your run to this. Next, just follow me. And do same for disabled, but choose not play, but stop. Now, when our game object starts on, it will play our sound, and also if he starts off, sound will stop. Also delete the flag from the play on awake, it's necessary. And also do the same way for the next activator game object. Play and stop. Now add the enable frame of these game objects on all animation. While no animation, they shall also be disabled, like I said earlier. So choose animation, click on button, and off our game objects. You can see frame like off. Okay, we must do this for all our animation. Glance 1. Also, you can do not do this. It's only for additional sound for walk and run. Now for the walk animation, set enable activation walk flag in the frame. And do the same for the run. And click enabled on the run. Now we can check our animation, it works or not. You can see walk on when animation start. And if run started, activation run also enabled. Now we must make same components, same game objects for the animal client. So copy these two game objects and passed under animal client. Rename it correctly. And also drag your sound and make setting again. Also, but there is no need to do the animation, because animation is the one for two components. Okay, now just save. And also a little bit about Ragdoll. It's very important to have the correct names here. If you write here, for example, model 1, it will no longer work. But Ragdoll, it's not tied to other components. In any way, you can add another model of effect here, for example, an explosion or fire effect. You can also add your sound here or whatever you want. Go to the next step. Go to the game folder and copy the animal file. Name it like you want. Also rename that file. Now write your ID and GUID. For GUID, you can use our GUID generator. So go to the R forum, find the link to the GUID generator, and generate some GUID. Copy and paste to your mod. Don't forget to add this linus. Because we use Unity 3D file, it's necessary to work them. Now this setting need to for the behavior. We just need ignore, so just keep it. And the health, let's make bigger. It's the reward for the kill, experience. And this idea of loot spawn by items. Phoenix, we have two sound, so we need to set number 2. If you need more setting, go to the back R forum and find Unturned animal documentation. You can find here any setting that animal have. For example, more animal variants, 8, glance, turtle, also for attack range, and another thing. That thing need to the difficult scripts animal, but not our case. These two parameters is adjusted to the animal speed. Now copy your folder path back to the Unity and let's bundle our mod. Bundle tool, grab, pass the path and save. Now let's check it in the game. To spawn animal, use command animal AD. You can see the animal spawned. There you go, man. You can also see sounds works good, like Volk, Phoenix. So let's check the Ragdoll maybe. Need to kill our animal. So you can see our Ragdoll is good. Looks realistic. So well, that's basically all. I remind you that the animal is limited only by your imagination, but don't forget about the limits or corrects work. If you don't understand something, write in the comments or contact us on our forum. So I wish you good luck.